The Silver Oak Diner was the kind of place where mornings felt like peace, where sunlight poured through spotless windows, and the smell of bacon, pancakes, and strong coffee wrapped around you like a warm memory. But that morning, something broke that peace. The laughter came first, sharp, cruel laughter that didn't belong in a place so gentle. 3 men stood by the counter, their shadows stretching across the red booths. Their eyes were mean, their smiles even meaner. And at the far end of the room sat Lena Brooks, quietly eating her breakfast, until one of them walked over. He leaned down close, the scent of liquor on his breath, and grinned. Then, without a word, he grabbed the front of her blouse and yanked. The sound of tearing fabric sliced through the room like a blade. Lena froze. Her breath hitched. She clutched at the torn shirt with trembling hands, her face pale with shock. The diner fell silent. No one moved. No one spoke. A couple in the corner looked away. The waitress turned her back, pretending not to see. And that's the thing about cruelty. It doesn't always need a crowd to grow. Sometimes, all it needs is silence. If you believe in kindness, in courage, and in standing up for what's right even when no one else will, please like, comment, and hit subscribe to Storiesby BB. Because even the smallest act of courage can change everything. The men laughed louder, mocking her tears. One of them slapped her plate off the table, sending it crashing to the floor. Coffee spilled, steam rising like smoke. Lena's heart pounded, but she stayed still, praying it would end. She wasn't just anyone. She was Eli Brooks's little sister, though no one there knew it yet. Eli had left town years ago, riding with his motorcycle club, the Reapers of Dawn. He'd promised her he'd stay out of trouble. Promised he'd never come back unless she truly needed him. That promise was about to be tested. The bell above the diner door chimed softly. The laughter stopped. 2 men walked in, tall, solid, wearing black leather vests marked with the unmistakable wings of the Reapers. Their boots echoed against the floor. Their eyes said everything. The one in front had a beard streaked with grey and eyes like thunderclouds. The second, broad and bald, followed close, his arms crossed, calm but heavy with quiet strength. They didn't rush. They didn't shout. They just walked. And with every step, the air in the diner got colder. The lead man's gaze finally found her. The trembling girl clutching a torn blouse, fear in her eyes. It was like time stopped, because Eli Brooks knew that face. His sister, his little Lena. Something dark flickered in his eyes. Not rage, but something deeper. Protectiveness, pain, love. He stepped forward, his boots heavy against the tile. The bullies turned. Their grins faded as they saw the club patches, the Reaper's wings. The main one's smirk wavered. His friends took a step back. Eli didn't say a word. He didn't have to. That kind of silence, the kind that comes before a storm, said it all. The man who'd touched Lena tried to speak, stumbling over excuses. "Hey, man, we didn't mean—" But his voice died in his throat. Eli stood inches away, his stare cold, cutting straight through him. The diner stayed frozen. Even the clock on the wall seemed to stop ticking. Then Eli turned to Lena, his voice low, steady. "Get up, sis," he said. "Let's go." She hesitated, tears in her eyes. And when she finally rose, something inside her shifted, not from fear, but from relief. He took off his leather jacket and draped it over her shoulders, covering the torn shirt, shielding her from every stare. In that moment, the entire diner saw it, that even the roughest men can carry hearts that protect instead of harm. Eli didn't need to throw a punch. His silence was louder than violence. The bullies looked down, guilt flooding their faces, the kind of guilt that doesn't fade easy. Lena and Eli walked toward the door, and for the first time that morning, the light outside looked brighter. As they stepped into the cool morning air, the roar of motorcycles waiting outside filled the street. Eli handed her his helmet. She looked up at him and smiled. For years she'd believed strength meant never needing anyone, but that day she learned something truer. Love, the kind that protects you when you can't protect yourself, is strength. When the engine roared to life, it wasn't rage, it was redemption. They rode off down the open road, the world sliding away behind them. And inside that diner, the men who had laughed sat in silence, small, ashamed, and forever changed. Because sometimes justice doesn't come with fists. Sometimes it walks in quietly, wearing leather and loyalty. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stories by BB. We believe in stories that remind the world that kindness, courage, and love can still win, even in the hardest places. Before we end, tell us in the comments, would you have stood up or stayed silent? Because sometimes all it takes is one brave moment to change everything.